Have you ever wondered why you work hard but never seem to get ahead financially? Have you gotten raises but still feel broke at the end of every month? Do you watch others build wealth while you're stuck in the same financial position year after year? Have you tried budgeting, saving, cutting expenses, but nothing seems to change? Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck despite doing everything you're supposed to do? Have you followed all the financial advice but you're still broke? Do you feel like there's something everyone else knows about money that you don't? Have you started to believe that being broke is just your reality? What if I told you that staying broke isn't about how much you make? It's about specific patterns you're repeating, patterns that keep you trapped. And once you see them, you can break them. You're not alone in this financial trap. The majority of people, regardless of income, are broke, not temporarily short on cash, structurally broke. They have no savings, no investments, no assets, just income that disappears every month. High earners making six figures living paycheck to paycheck. Middle-income families drowning in debt. Low-income workers trapped in survival mode. The income levels are different, but the broke pattern is the same. They're all caught in behaviors and beliefs that guarantee they'll stay broke. And the worst part, they don't even realize these patterns are the problem. They think they need more money. They don't. They need different patterns. The problem isn't that you're not smart enough or don't work hard enough. The problem is you're operating from broke person programming. You learned how to be broke from your environment, your family, your culture, your peers. Nobody sat you down and taught you wealth principles. Instead, you absorbed broke principles. And now those principles run automatically in the background of every financial decision you make. They keep you broke, not consciously, subconsciously. You're following a broke person's playbook and wondering why you keep getting broke person results. It's not your fault you learned these patterns, but it is your responsibility to unlearn them. Here's what happens if nothing changes. Today, you'll make broke person decisions without realizing it. Tomorrow, same patterns. Next month, you'll wonder where your paycheck went. Next year, you'll be in the exact same financial position or worse. And 10 years from now, you'll look back and realize you spent a decade trapped in the same broke patterns. The opportunity cost will be staggering. Not just the money you didn't save, the compound growth you missed, the freedom you delayed, the stress you carried unnecessarily, the relationships strained by financial pressure. That's what staying broke costs, not just money, life. Here's what financial educators won't tell you. Most financial advice is useless for broke people. Save 10%. You can't save 10% when you're drowning. Invest in index funds. You have no money to invest. Build an emergency fund. You're living in permanent emergency mode. The advice isn't wrong. It's just for people who aren't actually broke. People who have cash flow. People who have stability. If you're truly broke, you need different advice. You need to understand why you're broke, what patterns keep you there, how to break those patterns even with no money. That's what actually helps, not advice for people who already have money. This isn't theory. Behavioral economists studying financial decision-making found that broke people and wealthy people think about money fundamentally differently. They have different mental frameworks, different automatic responses, different priorities. Psychologists researching poverty found that being broke isn't just lack of money. It's a set of beliefs and behaviors that perpetuate the condition. Financial researchers confirm that people can have sudden windfalls, lottery wins, inheritances, and still end up broke because they have broke person patterns. The money doesn't fix the patterns. The patterns spend the money. You need to fix the patterns first, then build wealth, not the other way around. Here's what you need to understand. Being broke is a behavior pattern, not a permanent condition. You're not genetically broke. You're not destined to be broke. You're operating from broke programming, and programming can be changed. Once you see your broke patterns clearly, once you understand what they're costing you, once you learn different patterns, everything changes. Not overnight, but real, lasting change. You can break free. But first, you have to see the cage. Most people are so deep in broke patterns they can't even see them. They think this is just how money works. It's not. This is how broke people relate to money. Wealthy people do it completely differently. Here's exactly what's going to happen in the next hour. Right now, you're trapped in broke patterns and you don't even see them clearly. In the first chapter, you're going to learn the 7 patterns that keep people broke. These are the specific behaviors and beliefs that guarantee financial struggle. You'll recognize yourself in multiple patterns. That's good. Recognition is the first step. Then you're going to learn why you developed these patterns, where they came from, how they became automatic. This removes shame. You're not broken. You're programmed. Next, you'll discover how to interrupt each pattern. Specific techniques to catch yourself and choose differently. After that, you'll learn the wealthy person's patterns, what to do instead, how wealthy people think about and handle money differently. And finally, you'll create your personal pattern-breaking plan, customized to your specific situation. Your specific patterns, your path out. By the end of this audiobook, you'll have identified your specific broke patterns. You'll understand where they came from and why they persist. You'll have techniques to interrupt each pattern. You'll know what wealthy people do instead. You'll have a concrete plan to break free. You won't wonder why you're broke anymore. You'll see exactly why. You won't feel helpless about changing it. You'll have specific actions to take. You won't keep repeating the same financial mistakes. You'll have pattern awareness that prevents it. What you will feel is empowered, clear, like someone turned on the lights, like you finally understand the game you've been losing. And if you don't feel like you have a clear path out of broke after this hour, then I've failed you. But I won't. Because these patterns are real, identifiable, and breakable. So here's the real question. Not whether you'll finish this audiobook, but whether you'll actually break your patterns. Will you be someone who sees their patterns and keeps repeating them? Who understands intellectually but doesn't change behaviorally? Who stays comfortable in familiar broke patterns because change is uncomfortable? Or will you be someone who catches themselves mid-pattern and chooses differently? Who does the uncomfortable work of breaking old programming? Who looks back on today as when everything changed financially? You get to decide, but you can't decide later. Every day you operate from broke patterns is another day of financial struggle. Every pattern you repeat strengthens it. Every different choice you make weakens it. The time is now. You have 1 hour, 63 minutes, less time than you'll waste today scrolling or watching TV, less time than one pointless meeting, but enough time to see your broke patterns clearly and learn how to break them. The next hour is going to separate you from the version of yourself that's trapped in unconscious broke behaviors, that blames circumstances instead of patterns, that stays financially stuck forever. You're either all in or you're out. There's no half listening. No, this is interesting, but I won't change anything. Now is when it starts. Right now, take a breath. Think about your financial situation. That's the result of your current patterns. In 1 hour, you'll know exactly what patterns created that result, and exactly how to change them. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The 7 Broke Patterns. Let's identify the specific patterns that keep people broke, not vague ideas, concrete, observable behaviors that guarantee financial struggle. If you're broke, you're operating from at least 3 of these, probably more. As we go through them, notice which ones you recognize in yourself. Don't judge, just observe. Recognition is the first step to change. Pattern 1: spending to feel better. This is using purchases to regulate emotions. You're stressed, you buy something. You're sad, you treat yourself. You're bored, you shop. You're anxious, you spend. Money becomes emotional medication. The problem: emotions are frequent and intense. If every negative emotion triggers spending, you're spending constantly, and the relief is temporary. You feel better for moments or hours. Then you're back to baseline, but the money is gone. This pattern guarantees you'll stay broke because emotions are infinite and money is finite. Here's what this looks like in practice. Bad day at work. You order takeout instead of cooking, that's $40 gone. Fight with partner, you buy something online to feel better. $60, stressed about bills. You go shopping to distract yourself. $150, lonely on the weekend. You go to expensive brunch and activities. $120. In 1 week, $370 spent on emotional regulation. That's $1,500 a month. $18,000 a year. Gone. Not on things you planned or needed, on emotional management. If you do this, you'll never have money because emotions never stop, but money does. Pattern 2: living for today, ignoring tomorrow. This is present bias taken to the extreme. Every decision prioritizes present comfort over future security. You know you should save, but you want the thing now. You know you should pay off debt, but you want to enjoy life now. You know you should invest, but that's future you's problem. Present you wants present comfort. This pattern keeps you broke because future always becomes present. Future you will be present you. And present you keep screwing over future you. Eventually you are future you. And you're broke because past you never thought about you. Here's what this looks like. Tax refund comes. You know you should save it for emergencies, but you book a vacation. Present comfort over future security. Bonus at work. You know you should pay down credit cards, but you upgrade your TV. Present pleasure over future freedom. Small windfall. You know you should invest it, but you spend it on stuff. Present consumption over future wealth. This pattern feels good in the moment, every time, but it guarantees future you is broke. Because present you never builds anything for future you. And eventually, you're living in that neglected future. Pattern 3: financial avoidance. This is not looking at your financial reality, not checking account balances, not opening bills, not knowing how much you owe or what things cost, avoiding financial information because it's anxiety-producing. But avoidance doesn't make problems go away, it makes them worse. You overdraft because you didn't check the balance. You pay late fees because you didn't open the bill. You get surprised by expenses because you didn't track them. Avoidance keeps you broke because you can't manage what you refuse to see. You're flying blind financially, making decisions without information. That guarantees bad outcomes. Here's what this looks like. You don't know your account balance. You just swipe and hope it goes through. You have bills somewhere unopened. You'll deal with them eventually. You don't know how much you owe on credit cards. You just make minimum payments. You don't track spending. You have a vague sense but no specifics. This pattern feels like it reduces anxiety. Actually, it increases it, because the unknown is always scarier than the known. And the consequences of avoidance, overdrafts, late fees, collections are worse than facing reality would be. But the pattern persists because short-term avoidance feels easier. Pattern 4. Keeping up with appearances. This is spending to look successful instead of being successful. Buying things you can't afford to impress people who don't care. Leasing luxury cars. Wearing designer clothes. Eating at expensive restaurants. Taking impressive vacations, all while having no savings. This pattern keeps you broke because appearance is expensive, much more expensive than reality. You're paying a premium to project an image, and that premium is what could be building wealth. But instead, it's maintaining a facade. Here's what this looks like. You lease a car you can't afford because you want people to see you in it. That's $500 a month. 18 years of that is $108,000. Gone. For other people's impressions. You buy clothes with logos to signal status. Spending 3 times what you should on garments because of the lab. You eat out constantly because that's what successful people do. Except successful people who eat out can afford it. You're going into debt for appearances. This pattern is devastating because you're literally paying money to pretend you have money. It's the opposite of building wealth. Pattern 5. No financial boundaries. This is letting other people dictate your spending, saying yes to expensive group dinners when you can't afford it, lending money you need, buying gifts you can't afford, going to events that strain your budget, being unable to say no to financial requests because you're afraid of judgment or conflict. This pattern keeps you broke because other people's expectations become your budget. And other people don't care about your financial goals. They care about their own comfort and desires. If you can't set financial boundaries, you'll spend your way into permanent broke trying to please everyone else. Here's what this looks like. Friends suggest expensive restaurant. You can't afford it, but you go anyway. Split the bill. There's $80 you needed for groceries. Family member asks for money. You lend it even though you're behind on your own bills. They don't pay you back your money. Gone. Invitation to destination wedding. You put it on credit cards because you can't say no. $3,000 in debt for someone else's event. Partner wants to spend in ways you can't afford. You go along to avoid conflict. No boundaries. No financial safety. This pattern persists because social comfort feels more important than financial security. Until you're broke. Then financial insecurity makes everything worse. Pattern 6. The something-for-nothing mentality. This is constantly looking for shortcuts, get-rich-quick schemes, lottery tickets, gambling, crypto gambles, MLMs. Believing wealth comes from luck or tricks, not work and discipline. This pattern keeps you broke because you waste money chasing fantasies instead of building real wealth. Every dollar on lottery tickets is a dollar that can't compound. Every scheme you fall for is money lost. And the mentality prevents you from doing what actually works because actual wealth building is slow and boring. You're always looking for the magic shortcut, which doesn't exist. Here's what this looks like. Spending $50 to $100 a month on lottery tickets. That's $1,200 a year, $12,000 over 10 years. Invested properly, that would be $20,000 by year 10. But it's gone chasing losses, falling for crypto pump and dumps, losing thousands, joining MLMs, buying inventory, never making money, believing in get-rich-quick courses, paying for secrets that don't exist. The pattern is always the same, looking for magic, finding losses. This keeps you broke because you're spending money on hope instead of investing money in growth. Pattern 7. Earning to spend, not earning to build. This is the fundamental mindset difference. Broke people see income as money to spend. Wealthy people see income as money to build assets. When you get paid, you think, what can I buy? Wealthy people think, what can I invest? This pattern keeps you broke because you're converting all income directly into consumption or expenses. Nothing builds, nothing compounds. You're on a treadmill. Earning, spending, never accumulating. Just cycling. Here's what this looks like. Paycheck hits. You pay bills and spend what's left. Nothing saved, nothing invested, bonus comes. You immediately think of things to buy. It's gone within days. Raise happens. Your lifestyle expands to match. More eating out, more expensive things. No increase in savings or investments. You're earning more but building nothing. This pattern seems normal because everyone does it, but it guarantees you'll work forever. Because income alone doesn't create wealth. Invested income creates wealth. And if you're spending everything, you're investing nothing. So those are the 7 patterns: emotional spending, present bias, financial avoidance, keeping up appearances, no boundaries, something for nothing mentality, earning to spend. If you recognized yourself in even one of these, that pattern is costing you. If you recognized yourself in multiple, they're compounding, keeping you broke. But recognition is powerful. You can't change what you don't see. Now you see it. In the next chapter, we'll explore where these patterns came from and why they're so hard to break. Chapter 2. Where broke patterns come from. You've identified the patterns. Now let's understand where they came from, because these patterns aren't random. They're learned, programmed. And understanding the source removes shame. You're not broken, you're running old programming. Let's start with family conditioning. Most financial behaviors are learned in childhood. You watched how your parents handled money. That became your baseline, your normal. If they spent emotionally, you learned that money fixes feelings. If they avoided financial discussions, you learned money is stressful and should be avoided. If they spent to impress others, you learned status matters more than savings. If they had no boundaries, you learned you can't say no to financial requests. You weren't explicitly taught these patterns. You absorbed them through observation, through osmosis, and now they run automatically. Here's the difficult part. Even if you consciously reject your parents' financial behaviors, the patterns are still there. Subconsciously, you might say, "I'll never be like them with money." But in stress, in default mode, you do exactly what they did because that's what's programmed. The neural pathways were formed young. They're deep. They're automatic. Conscious rejection isn't enough. You need conscious reprogramming, new patterns, new pathways. That takes awareness and repetition. But first, you have to acknowledge the source. Your broke patterns probably came from your family. That's not blame. That's recognition. Now let's talk about culture and environment. The culture you grew up in has massive influence. If you grew up in a culture that values consumption and status display, you learned those values. If you grew up in poverty, you might have scarcity mindset, fear of lack, grab it while you can mentality. If you grew up middle class, you might have learned to work hard but not how to build wealth. Different cultures, different broke patterns, but all equally limiting. Your environment taught you what's normal. And you think your normal is universal. It's not. It's just your programming. Let's discuss socioeconomic programming. People from different economic backgrounds develop different money relationships. Wealthy background teaches investment thinking, long-term perspective, using money to make money. Middle-class background teaches work hard, get education, get good job, but not how to build wealth beyond retirement accounts. Poor background teaches survival thinking, short-term focus, spend it before something takes it. None of these is inherently better or worse. But some create wealth. Some maintain status quo. Some keep you broke. If you came from broke background, you learned broke thinking. And that thinking keeps creating broke results until you change the thinking. Here's the peer influence component. Humans are social. We conform to group norms. If your friends are broke and spend recreationally, you'll feel pressure to do the same. If your social circle values appearance over substance, you'll spend on appearance to fit in. If your peers don't talk about investing or building wealth, you won't either. Your social circle is either lifting you financially or pulling you down. Most people's circles are pulling them down, not maliciously, just by normalized broke behavior. Everyone's doing it, so it seems normal. But normalized doesn't mean healthy. Normalized just means common. Now let's address trauma and emotional programming. If you experienced financial instability as a child, you might have developed emotional spending as a coping mechanism. If money was a source of conflict, you might avoid financial discussions. If you felt powerless as a child, you might use spending as a way to feel control now. Trauma creates patterns. Those patterns persist into adulthood. Even when circumstances change, the patterns remain. This is why therapy can be valuable for financial issues. Sometimes broke patterns are actually trauma responses, and they won't change until the trauma is addressed. Let's discuss the instant gratification culture. Modern society is designed for immediate satisfaction, one-click buying, same-day delivery, streaming everything now, credit for instant purchases. This environment reinforces present bias. Why wait when you can have it now? Why save when you can borrow? Why delay gratification when gratification is available immediately? This cultural context makes broke patterns easier and wealth patterns harder. The environment is set up to extract money from you, to make spending effortless and saving difficult. You're swimming against the current. That's not excuse, but it's context. Here's the marketing and manipulation factor. You're targeted constantly. Algorithms know what you want. Ads trigger emotions. Sales create urgency. Influencers make consumption look aspirational. This is professional psychological manipulation designed to separate you from your money, and it works. You're not weak for falling for it. You're human, but wealthy people have defenses. They recognize manipulation. They resist. They make decisions based on logic and goals, not emotions and marketing. Broke people don't have these defenses. They're susceptible. Every clever ad, every influencer post, every sale notification is an opportunity to spend. And they do. Now the lack of financial education. School doesn't teach personal finance. Most parents don't either. You're expected to figure out money on your own, through trial and error, mostly error. You learn about compound interest in your 40s. You discover tax optimization in your 50s. You understand investing when it's almost too late. This is intentional ignorance. The system doesn't benefit from financially literate people. Financially literate people don't carry debt, don't pay excessive fees, don't work until they die. The system needs financially illiterate workers, so it doesn't teach finance. You have to seek it out yourself. And most people don't. They stay broke, wondering why. Let's discuss the identity component. By adulthood, being broke might be part of your identity. I'm just not good with money. I'm not a numbers person. I'll never be wealthy. These identity statements are self-fulfilling. If being broke is your identity, you'll unconsciously sabotage any movement toward wealth, because wealth would contradict your identity. And identity is powerful. You'll protect it even when it's harmful. Changing broke patterns requires changing identity. From I'm broke to I'm building wealth. From I'm bad with money to I'm learning financial literacy. Identity shift is crucial. Without it, patterns persist. Here's the final piece. Neural pathways. Every time you repeat a pattern, you strengthen the neural pathway for that behavior. Do it enough times and it becomes automatic, unconscious. You don't think about it, you just do it. This is why broke patterns are so hard to break. They're literally carved into your brain through repetition, but here's the good news. Neural pathways can be changed through new patterns, through conscious repetition of different behaviors. Neuroplasticity, your brain can rewire. But it requires consistent effort. You can't just decide to change. You have to practice changing, over and over, until new pathways form, until new patterns become automatic. So where did your broke patterns come from? Family, culture, socioeconomic background, peers, trauma, instant gratification culture, marketing manipulation, lack of education, identity, neural pathways. All of these combine to create the patterns you're operating from now. Understanding this removes shame. You didn't choose to be broke. You were programmed. But here's your responsibility. Now that you see it, you have to reprogram. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to interrupt each pattern. Chapter 3. Breaking the Patterns. You know the patterns. You understand where they came from. Now let's learn how to break them, pattern by pattern. Let's start with emotional spending. The pattern is using purchases to regulate emotions. The interruption is recognizing the emotion before you spend. Here's the technique. When you feel the urge to buy something, pause, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Name the emotion: stressed, sad, bored, anxious, lonely. Then ask, will buying this actually fix this feeling? The answer is always no. Temporarily, maybe. Long-term, no. This pause between emotion and action is where you break the pattern. The emotion is fine. The automatic spending response is what you're changing. Next, create alternative emotional regulation strategies. Things that don't cost money. Take a walk, call a friend, exercise, journal, create something. These regulate emotions without spending. When you feel the spending urge, use an alternative instead. This takes practice. Your brain wants the familiar pattern. It will resist. But each time you choose differently, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. Over time, emotional spending becomes less automatic. You have other tools. This doesn't mean never buying things. It means buying intentionally, not compulsively. Now, present bias. The pattern is always prioritizing present over future. The interruption is making future you real. Here's the technique. Before any financial decision, imagine yourself 1 year from now, vividly. Where will you be? What will you have? What will you regret? Will future you thank present you for this decision or curse you? This brings future consequences into present awareness. Suddenly, saving for future you becomes real. You're not saving for an abstract future. You're helping a real person, yourself. This mental shift makes present bias weaker. Create a future you reminder. Photo of yourself labeled "Thank you for building our future" or "Don't screw us over." Put it where you see it before making financial decisions. On your credit card, on your phone. This constant reminder that future exists and is you makes it harder to ignore. Also, create small future rewards. If I save this bonus instead of spending it, future me will be able to take a real vacation funded by investment returns. Connect present sacrifice to future benefit specifically. Abstract future is easy to ignore. Specific future is harder. Financial avoidance. The pattern is not looking at financial reality. The interruption is forced transparency. Here's the technique. Schedule a weekly money appointment, 15 minutes, every week, same day, same time. During this appointment, you check balances, open bills, review spending, update budget. This scheduled transparency forces you to look at reality regularly. It can't build up, it can't surprise you. You're maintaining awareness. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Do it anyway. The discomfort is less than the consequences of avoidance. Make checking finances routine like brushing teeth. Non-negotiable, not something you do when you feel like it. Something you do every week whether you feel like it or not. Over time, it becomes normal, less anxiety-producing. You build tolerance for financial information, and you catch problems early, before they become crises. Avoidance keeps you broke. Awareness creates opportunity to change. Even if your financial reality is bad, seeing it clearly is better than avoiding it. Because you can't fix what you won't face. Keeping up appearances. The pattern is spending to look successful. The interruption is redefining success. Here's the technique. Make a list of what actual success means to you. Not what society says, not what social media portrays, what you actually value. Time with family, creative freedom, travel, health, peace. Likely none of these require expensive appearance maintenance. When you're tempted to spend for appearances, check your list. Is this purchase aligned with your actual success definition? Usually no. This clarity helps you say no to appearance spending. Also, unfollow everyone on social media who makes you feel inadequate. Everyone whose life makes you want to spend to keep up. Curate your feed for inspiration that aligns with your values. Not consumption inspiration. Life inspiration. This reduces comparison triggers. You're not fighting constant status competition if you're not exposing yourself to it. Your environment shapes your behavior. Control your environment. Finally, practice saying, "I'm not doing that." Don't over-explain. Don't apologize, just "that doesn't work for me." When invited to expensive things you can't afford, when asked why you don't have the branded thing, "It's not a priority for me." Set the boundary. Let others judge if they want. You're building wealth. They're building appearances. No financial boundaries. The pattern is letting others dictate your spending. The interruption is explicit boo. In dairy setting, here's the technique. Decide your financial boundaries in advance. I can spend X on group dinners. I don't lend money. I don't participate in expensive gift exchanges. Whatever your boundaries are, decide them when you're clear-headed, not in the moment when you feel social pressure. Then communicate them before situations arise. "Hey, just so you know, I'm on a tight budget, so I'll be choosing less expensive options." Or, "I don't lend money, it's a policy, nothing personal." Setting expectations early reduces conflict. When someone pushes your boundary, repeat it. Don't defend or explain more, just repeat. "I understand you'd like me to lend you money. As I said, I don't do that. I hear that the dinner is expensive. I'll have to pass." Repetition without justification. You don't owe lengthy explanations for your financial boundaries. They're your boundaries. The discomfort of setting boundaries is temporary. The financial damage of not having them is permanent. Choose the uncomfortable conversation over financial destruction. Every time. Something for nothing mentality. The pattern is chasing shortcuts instead of building real wealth. The interruption is embracing the boring truth. Here's the technique. Whenever you're tempted by get-rich-quick, ask, "If this worked, wouldn't everyone do it?" If everyone could win lottery, lottery wouldn't exist. If this crypto scheme made everyone rich, it wouldn't need your money. Schemes only work for the people selling them. This question cuts through the fantasy, makes you see clearly. The truth is wealth building is boring. Save, invest. Wait, repeat. Decades, that's it. No magic, no shortcuts, just consistent boring discipline. Replace lottery tickets and schemes with actual investing, even small amounts. That $10 a week on lottery, put it in index funds. In 30 years at 7%, that's $50,000. Real money from what you were wasting on fantasy. This doesn't feel exciting. It's not supposed to. Wealth building isn't exciting. It's reliable. Redirect your gambling scheme money into boring investments. You won't get rich quick, but you will get rich eventually. Which is better than staying broke forever while chasing magic. Earning to spend. The pattern is converting income directly to consumption. The interruption is paying yourself first. Here's the technique. When income hits your account, immediately transfer money to savings or investment. Before you pay bills, before you spend anything, pay yourself first. Even if it's small, $50, $100, whatever you can. This flips the pattern. You're no longer spending first and saving what's left. You're saving first and spending what's left. This simple reversal changes everything. Now you're building, not just cycling. Automate this. Don't rely on remembering or motivation. Automatic transfer the day after payday to a separate account you don't touch. After a few months, you won't even miss it. Your spending adjusts because it has to. You're living on what's left after you paid yourself. This is how wealth actually builds, not through massive amounts, through consistent small amounts over time. Compound interest is boring but powerful, earning to build instead of earning to spend. This is the fundamental pattern shift that creates wealth. These interruption techniques work if you use them consistently. The patterns won't disappear immediately. They're deeply grooved, but each time you interrupt a pattern and choose differently, you weaken it. Each time you strengthen the new pattern. Over months and years, the new patterns become automatic. You've reprogrammed, but it requires conscious effort, consistent effort, and most importantly, self-compassion. When you slip, you will slip. You'll catch yourself mid-old pattern. That's okay. Notice it. Choose differently next time. Progress, not perfection. In the next chapter, we'll learn what wealthy people do instead. Chapter 4. Wealthy People's Patterns. You're breaking broke patterns. Now let's install wealthy patterns. These are the opposite of broke patterns. Different thinking, different behaviors, different results. Let's start with the first wealthy pattern, spending less than you earn. This sounds obvious, but most people don't do it. They spend exactly what they earn or more. Wealthy people, regardless of income level, spend less than they earn. Always. This creates margin, cash flow, money to invest. If you spend everything you make, you're on a treadmill. If you spend less, you're building. The percentage doesn't matter as much as the direction. Spend less than you earn. Every month. Non-negotiable. Here's how to implement this. Track your spending for a month. See what you actually spend. Then look for cuts, not massive cuts. 10 to 20%, enough to create margin. Maybe you're spending $3,000 a month. Cut to $2,700. That $300 becomes your investment fund. Every month. $300 doesn't seem like much. But $300 a month invested at 7% becomes $140,000 in 20 years. That's from small margin. Imagine if you created bigger margin. This is the foundation. Spend less than you earn. Create cash flow. Invest the difference. Second wealthy pattern, investing automatically. Wealthy people don't wait to invest. They don't invest what's left over. They invest first, automatically. The day income hits, a portion goes to investments before spending, before bills even. Why? Because investing is the priority, everything else adjusts around it. This is the opposite of broke pattern. Broke people spend first, save what's left, which is nothing. Wealthy people invest first, spend what's left. This single pattern difference over decades creates millions in wealth disparity. How to implement? Set up automatic investment, even small amount. $50 every paycheck to a brokerage account. Into index funds, set it up once, it runs forever. You don't think about it, don't decide each time, it just happens. This removes decision fatigue. Removes the temptation to spend instead. It's gone before you can spend it, and it's building, compounding, working for you. Automatic investment is the single most powerful wealth-building tool for normal people. Use it. Third wealthy pattern, living below your means. This is different from spending less than you earn. This is about baseline lifestyle. Wealthy people often live well below what they could afford. They drive older cars, live in modest homes, wear regular clothes, not because they're cheap, because they value wealth over appearance. They'd rather be rich than look rich. Broke people do the opposite, live right at or above their means. They look successful, but they're broke. Wealthy people look normal, but they're accumulating. Implement this through conscious lifestyle choices. Don't upgrade lifestyle with every raise. Don't buy the most expensive version. Don't let your spending expand to fill income. Keep lifestyle modest. bank the difference. This feels counterintuitive. You work hard. You want to enjoy it, but enjoying it through spending prevents wealth. Enjoying it through financial security is better. Choose security over consumption. Future you will thank present you. Fourth wealthy pattern, making money work for you. Wealthy people don't just earn active income. They create passive income, investments that pay dividends, real estate that generates rent, businesses that run without them. Their money makes money. Broke people only have active income. If they stop working, money stops. This is precarious. Wealthy people build income streams that work whether they work or not. This is leverage. This is freedom. Implement this gradually. Start with stock investments that pay dividends. Small income at first, but it's passive. Then maybe real estate if you can. Rental income, passive. Maybe start a side business that can eventually run without you. Takes time to build, but that's the goal. Money working for you. Each passive income stream reduces dependence on active income, increases financial security, gives options. This is wealth. Fifth wealthy pattern, long-term thinking. Wealthy people think in decades. They make decisions based on 10, 20, 30-year outcomes, not immediate gratification. They delay gratification for bigger future rewards. Broke people think in days or weeks. They optimize for immediate comfort. This time horizon difference creates massive outcome differences. Same decisions, different time frames, different results. If you're thinking about tonight's dinner, you order takeout. If you're thinking about next decade's wealth, you cook and invest the difference. Implement this by asking, where will this decision put me in 10 years? Before major financial choices, taking debt. Where in 10 years, buying status item? Where in 10 years, investing this money? Where in 10 ye? Ours long-term question changes the answer, makes wealth building obvious, makes consumption seem short-sighted. This thinking takes practice, but it's powerful. Start asking the question. Let it guide decisions. Sixth wealthy pattern, continuous financial education. Wealthy people constantly learn about money. They read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, seek mentors. They treat financial education as ongoing, not one time. Broke people learn nothing or learn once and think they're done, but finance changes, economy changes. You need to keep learning. Wealthy people do. That's partly why they stay wealthy. They know things. They spot opportunities. They avoid traps because they're educated. Implement this through habit. One finance book per month. One podcast episode per week. One YouTube video on investing per day. Small, consistent learning. Over years, you become financially literate. You understand compound interest, tax optimization, investment vehicles, risk management, all the things broke people don't know. This knowledge becomes wealth because you make better decisions, avoid costly mistakes, spot opportunities. Education is investment in yourself. Highest return investment there is. Seventh wealthy pattern, value creation over time trading. Wealthy people create value, they build businesses, they invest in assets that appreciate, they create intellectual property. They don't just trade time for money, they leverage their efforts, create once, get paid repeatedly, or create systems that generate value without their time. Broke people only trade time for money. Linear relationship. More hours, more pay. Stop working, stop earning. No leverage, no scaling. Wealthy people focus on value creation with leverage. Work creates ongoing returns. This is the difference between jobs and wealth vehicles. Implement this by transitioning. You might need job income now, but start building side business, investments, skills that can be monetized repeatedly. Start small, but start. The goal is to eventually not depend solely on trading time for money. To have wealth vehicles that generate returns, this takes years, but it's the path. Time trading keeps you broke. Value creation builds wealth. Start the transition. These are wealthy patterns. Spend less than you earn. Invest automatically. Live below means. Make money work for you. Think long-term. Educate continuously. Create value. Don't just trade time. The opposite of broke patterns. Installing these patterns creates different financial trajectory. Not overnight, but certain. Over time. Compound effect. In the final chapter, we'll create your specific pattern-breaking plan. Chapter 5. Your pattern-breaking plan. You know the broke patterns. You know how to interrupt them. You know wealthy patterns to install. Now let's create your specific plan, customized to your situation, your patterns, your path out. Let's start with honest assessment. Which broke patterns are you operating from? Go back to Chapter 1. Which ones did you recognize in yourself? Write them down, be honest. No judgment, just observation. These are your targets, the patterns you need to break. Knowing them specifically is crucial. You can't break what you don't identify. Now rank them by impact. Which pattern is costing you most? Emotionally, spending might drain $500 a month. Keeping up appearances might drain $1,000. Present bias might prevent you from saving entirely. Rank them. Start with the one that's costing you most. That's your first focus. Not all of them at once. 1. Break the highest impact pattern first. This gives you the biggest win, most money freed up, most momentum. Next, identify your triggers. When does this pattern activate? What situations, emotions, or people trigger it? If emotional spending is your pattern, what emotions trigger it most? Stress, boredom, anxiety. If keeping up appearances, what social situations trigger spending? Group dinners, social media, certain friends. Identify triggers specifically. These are the high-risk situations, the moments you're most likely to slip into pattern. Knowing them lets you prepare. Now design specific interventions for your triggers. If stress triggers emotional spending, your intervention might be when stressed, take a walk before making any purchase. If social pressure triggers appearance spending, your intervention might be before saying yes to expensive plans, take 24 hours to decide. Specific trigger, specific intervention, write it down. This is your playbook. When trigger happens, you do intervention instead of old pattern. Practice this. Each time you successfully intervene, you weaken old pattern. Let's create your wealthy pattern implementation plan. Choose one wealthy pattern to install, just one. The one that resonates most or seems most achievable. Maybe it's automatic investing. Maybe it's spending less than you earn. Maybe it's financial education. Choose one. Now make it concrete, not I'll invest more. That's vague. I'll automatically invest $150 every paycheck into index fund. Specific, measurable, actionable. Write it down, set it up. Do it. Create accountability. Tell someone your plan, someone who will check in, who will ask, did you do your automatic investment this month? Did you stay within your spending limit? Did you read the finance book? Accountability dramatically increases follow-through. Don't try to do this alone. Get a friend on the same path, an accountability partner, check in weekly, share wins and struggles. This makes pattern breaking easier. Now let's address setbacks. You will slip. You'll catch yourself mid-old pattern. You'll spend emotionally. You'll avoid finances. You'll buy for appearances. This is normal. Patterns don't break instantly. What matters is what you do after. Do you beat yourself up and give up? Or do you notice, learn, and try again? Choose the second. Self-compassion is crucial. You're unlearning decades of programming. Give yourself grace. But get back on track immediately. One slip doesn't erase progress. Giving up does. Create a relapse plan. When you slip into old pattern, what do? Here's a simple one, notice it. I just spent emotionally. Don't judge, just observe. Ask what triggered it. Identify the trigger. Ask what could I do differently next time. Create new plan. Then let it go. Move forward. Don't dwell. Don't spiral. Notice. Learn. Move on. This plan prevents one slip from becoming pattern relapse. Each slip becomes learning opportunity, not failure. Data. Let's talk timeline. How long until patterns break? Varies. Some people see changes in months, some take years. Depends on how deep patterns are, how consistent you are with interventions, how much support you have. Don't focus on timeline, focus on direction. Are you moving toward wealth patterns, away from broke patterns? Yes. Then you're succeeding, even if slowly. Direction matters more than speed. Sustainable change is gradual. Fast change rarely lasts. Implement a weekly review. Every week, sit down for 15 minutes. Review the week financially. Did you follow your plan? Did you slip? Where? What did you learn? What will you do differently? Celebrate wins. Notice patterns. Adjust plan as needed. This weekly touch point keeps you honest, keeps you aware, prevents drift back to unconscious broke patterns. It's maintenance, like brushing teeth for your financial health. Now measure progress, not just by money, by behavior change. Are you pausing before emotional purchases? Are you checking finances weekly? Are you setting boundaries? Are you investing automatically? These behavioral changes are the real progress. Money follows behavior. Focus on behavior, track it, celebrate it. This keeps you motivated. Shows you're changing even before bank account shows it. Create environmental support. Make broke patterns harder. Wealth patterns easier. Delete shopping apps. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Remove saved credit cards from websites. These make impulse spending harder. Set up automatic investing. Make it one click. No friction. Automate bills. Remove decision fatigue. Curate social media. Remove comparison triggers. Your environment shapes your behavior. Engineer it intentionally. Support your goals. Don't sabotage them. Build identity shift. Start saying, I'm someone who builds wealth instead of I'm broke. I'm learning financial literacy instead of I'm bad with money. Language shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior. Choose language that supports new patterns, even if it feels fake initially. Eventually, you become what you practice. This is self-fulfilling prophecy working for you instead of against you. Finally, the long view. You're not just breaking patterns. You're building a new relationship with money, a healthier one, a sustainable one. This takes time, but it's possible. People do it every day. People who were deep in broke patterns break free. Build wealth, create security. You can too. The path is clear. Identify patterns, understand them, interrupt them, install new ones. Practice, adjust, persist. That's it. Not complicated, just consistent. Your pattern-breaking plan. Identify your specific patterns. Rank by impact. Focus on one. Identify triggers, design interventions. Choose one wealthy pattern, make it concrete, create accountability, plan for setbacks, weekly review, measure behavioral progress. Engineer environment, build new identity, take the long view. This is your roadmap. Follow it, adjust as needed, but follow it. This is how you break free. Let's bring this together. You learned the 7 broke patterns: emotional spending, present bias, financial avoidance, keeping up appearances, no boundaries, something for nothing mentality, earning to spend. These patterns guarantee you stay broke. You learned where they came from: family, culture, trauma, environment, marketing, lack of education, identity, neural pathways, programming, not choice. You learned how to break each pattern, specific interruption techniques, emotional regulation alternatives, future you visualization, forced transparency, redefining success, boundary setting, embracing boring truth, paying yourself first, concrete, actionable strategies. You learned wealthy patterns: spend less than you earn, invest automatically, live below means, money working for you, long-term thinking, continuous education, value creation, the opposite of broke patterns, the path to wealth. You created your pattern-breaking plan, identify patterns, rank them, focus on one, design interventions, install new patterns, create accountability, handle setbacks, weekly reviews, environmental support, identity shift, your personalized roadmap. So here's what it all comes down to. Most people stay broke because they're trapped in broke patterns, unconscious behaviors that guarantee broke results. But broke is a pattern, not a destiny. Patterns can be broken. New patterns can be installed if you do the work, if you stay conscious, if you persist. This isn't about making more money, it's about changing your relationship with money, your automatic responses, your default behaviors. Change those and wealth follows. Eventually. Certainly. Right now, identify your number 1 broke pattern, the one costing you most. Write it down. Then choose one intervention technique from Chapter 3. One specific action you'll take next time the pattern triggers. Write that down too. That's your starting point. One pattern, one intervention, start there. Master that. Then move to the next pattern. One at a time. Build momentum. Here's what happens when you do this. First, you'll catch yourself mid-pattern. Awareness increases. That's progress. Then you'll interrupt the pattern occasionally, choose differently, success. Then more frequently, new pattern strengthening, then automatically, new default installed. Then you're operating from wealthy patterns instead of broke patterns. Same circumstances, different behaviors, different results. Wealth building instead of broke cycling. This is the path. This is how people actually break free. You have everything you need. You understand your patterns. You know where they came from. You know how to interrupt them. You know what to install instead. You have a plan. Now you just need to execute. Stop waiting for circumstances to change. Change your patterns. Circumstances will follow. Stop blaming external factors. Take internal responsibility. Your patterns create your results. Change patterns, change results. Most people stay broke, but you won't, not because you're special, because you're willing to see your patterns and break them, because you're willing to do uncomfortable work, because you're willing to change. That's all it takes. Willingness plus action. You've got both. Now go break free.